All right, guys, so I just finished up running my key for this week of Hydra. That is my new personal best in Brutal. The key that I've done is a key that's in the thumbnail. It was 930 million damage. This is going to be the team that gets me to 1 billion plus Brutal with Oboro. Now, with that said, I got two variations of this team. It's a little bit different than the previous ones. This team is far safer because of one specific champion, that being Krisk. Not everybody has him, but I'm going to go through and share with you all how this team works, and maybe you can theory craft some things to maybe even do better than this. Now, there's two versions of this team. There's the one that I ran last week that was literally 100% full auto, didn't click a single head. I'm going to fast forward through this so you guys can kind of see. There was no heads clicked, nothing turned off. I literally walked away, came back, and the team was finished at 754 million damage. Now, of course, that's not 900 plus million, but I did make some small changes. So here we have Lady Mikage, Krisk, Varl, Wukong, Oboro, and Padraig. Now, Krisk has no blessings, Varl has a 1-star blessing, and Oboro, of course, has a 6-star blessing, which is super important for her with Crushing Rend. Lady Mikage has some cruelty, which helps out a lot. But this team did fantastic. Krisk did an excellent job at helping everybody stay alive. Now, the team that I'm using this week is slightly different, but this one, 100% full auto, walk away using Varl, who's a free champion from the Doom Tower. Takes a little while to get, so if you don't have him, but you've gotten kind of lucky with the Void Shard pulls, you got your Krisk, maybe you have the other champion that's going to be shown in this video right here. That champion is going to be Turvold. So Turvold is a champion who's actually guaranteed a long time ago, but this dude smacks incredibly hard. Check out how much damage he does just from his A1 where he joins in. That was a A2 skill, I believe, there. Let's fast forward or rewind that just a little bit. Turvold, let's see what he does. About to do his turn, I think. So that was the Juggernaut skill. 1.2 million, 1.4 million. So that's what? 2.6 million damage from one skill. His A1 abilities alone is hitting for about 1 million damage. I have two ally attack champions here. I have Mikage plus Padraig. So both those champions are getting Turvold to join in pretty frequently. So he just now did a join in attack, I believe, or just a A1 ability right here. A1, boom, boom. That is over 1 million damage there just from that A1 ability. Granted, it is on a decapitated head, and Varl can hit those same numbers. Varl is a beast. But we got a little bit of issues on this Hydra rotation specifically. So if you come in here to this Hydra rotation, you can see that a lot of the heads are magic affinity. So Varl has a hard time keeping weakened up on everybody, keeping those strong hits going through, and instead he ends up getting quite a bit of weak hits. On future rotations, I may swap back in Varl because his A1 hits like a truck as well. Just for some showcase purposes, let me show you how hard his A1 ability hits. We have two ally attack champions, so having a strong A1 champion is super important. Now, on full auto, when I have no clicking being done, of course, they never target the decapitated heads for whatever reason. I don't know why they don't, but the AI just decides, you know, we're just going to target whatever head we want. That's not a decapitated head. Not going to sink in the millions of damage per hit. We're just going to chill with the 300,000. There we go. No decreased defense, no weaken. 500,000 hit there. Hopefully we get the decreased defense and weaken up. That is the nice thing about having Varl, though, is Varl does bring a decreased defense and weaken. Or sorry, he brings a weaken on everything. So it does help me actually get a little bit more damage squeezed out. Unfortunately, he's not getting his big hits there. Hopefully we get an A1 from him on one of the heads. But even his A2 hits super hard, and his A3, they all hit hard. But his A1 is going to be what he joins in on attacks with. So 515 there. Okay, eventually he's going to have to hit this head over here on the far left, right? It's magic affinity, though. It seems like they're all magic affinity. At least 3 of them are. There we go. 1 million damage with just decreased defense. That's no weaken. So it'd be well over 1 million with that A1 ability. Like I said, on future rotations, if my blessings for him were better, I think he would do better or as good as Turvold. Actually, he should do better because it's going to be an AoE weaken. It's going to boost everybody's damage, and it would just make the most sense. But this current rotation, since he is a champion who is weak affinity, it's a little bit harder. Now, Turvold has the benefit that he's void affinity, so we don't have to worry about those weak hits. We don't have to worry about the heads and what affinity they are. He also brings weaken. Now, let's look at the builds of these champions, because this is a question I get asked very often. So I'm going to show you the builds, the stats and the presets from the actual Hydra screen. This is going to include all the Hydra stage bonuses. So Lady Mikage, I've actually changed my opinion, and I use this A2 ability now. Used to, I would turn it off, so she would always be having Oboro join in on attacks. But as you can see, I have no answer for the Head of Torment. I have no Inquisitor Shamel, nothing like that. So now I have Lady Mikage using this A2. Paired with Krisk, we end up keeping all the buffs up majority of the fight. Plus, she's going to decrease the duration of our debuffs as well. So removing fears essentially, dropping some provokes. Very solid skill right here on this A2 ability. So that's why I actually have it being used now. But open with the A1 and then we use the A3. There, her stats on the far right. I'll go into her kit in a minute and what she's actually wearing specifically. Krisk prioritized the A3 and his A2, got him pretty fast. Turvold, his speed, not super important necessarily because he's just mostly doing a lot of ally attacks. It's different with Varl. I'll show you Varl's build, but with Varl, you want him to be much faster because he's going to be placing that AoE weaken from his actual skill, whereas Turvold places it from his A1, so you can place it accordingly with the ally attacks that you get. Varl also scales with his attack percentage based on how many times you've used an active skill, so you want him taking it a lot of turns very frequently. So Varl is going to be more on the side of like, hey, 250 plus if you can get it. Turvold, not as important. But we prioritize the A3, turn off the A2. These buffs, no need to have them, honestly. It could possibly mess up some mischief targeting, but most of these are already being covered, and we really don't want any extra turns wherever I can prevent it. So Wukong, built for damage, pretty fast. His main role here is to strip plus block buffs, but also this monkey smacks for like 1,000,000 plus damage with that A2 ability on decapitated heads. So he's also doing some serious damage. You can see it in this Hydra 2 right here. Let's see how much damage he actually did. So comparing the damage of these champions, you can see, okay, Lady Mikage 31 million, Krisk 167. He has curse set, spoiler alert. Turvold has 262, but Sun Wukong, he's no slouch. 135 million damage. Oboro doing 310, of course, the most. Now, with Sun Wukong's build, Oboro, as you could have guessed, is a 9-piece Slayer, which, speaking of, I don't think 9-piece Slayer is even fixed yet. So when it gets fixed, my Oboro team is going to knock 1 billion damage out of the park without a doubt. And honestly, on the next rotation, if I can get Varl a higher blessing, maybe even get him to 4-star blessing, he's going to be doing so good. So Oboro is her stats, and then Padraig. Padraig is here for the continuous heal, the ally attack, the turn meter boost, increased speed. He is a tremendous benefit and tremendous boost to this team. Super helpful. So we have ally attacks coming from Mikage's A1. We have ally attacks coming from Mikage's A3. We have ally attacks coming from Padraig. We have so many ally attacks coming off, guys. Also, Padraig's passive ability is giving me increased attack on the other champion since I have nobody here to actually give me increased attack in any other way. So looking at the specific gear on each champion, we have Mikage in Relentless plus Merciless for more cooldown reduces, so we can get more of this A3 and possibly even the A2 off. I could always turn the A2 off and see how it works, but for now, this is working very well. And then our masteries are over here. I got War Master just to squeeze a little bit more out. I definitely say Cruelty is very good. If you can get Cruelty on a different champion, Krisk is a good option as well. But Cruelty is very, very helpful to have on somebody. The damage differences on champions who don't have 6-star Crushing Rend is going to be massive. So that's Mikage. Then we have Sun Wukong. Sun Wukong is built fast, good accuracy, with some good high damage. It's my arena build, so I just leave him there all the time. Everything's fully booked. Soul Reap, is it the best? I don't really know, honestly. May change it up, but for now, I use this in the arena some, so I'm just going to leave it where it's at. Masters, we have Helm Smasher. He's doing so much damage that Helm Smasher is going to do more for him than War Master is, I believe. And then Turvold's gear is right here, lethal plus some speed. We have a Blood Shield ring. Blood Shield necklace. This is very important, honestly. Blood Shield on the champions who hit really hard. Oboro unfortunately can't have it because she's a 9-piece Slayer, but Varl and Turvold both get massive benefits from Blood Shield accessories because they hit so incredibly hard. They can easily kill themselves from a reflect damage, but if you have Blood Shield, well, whenever Turvold goes to hit, he's going to be placing a pretty big shield on himself. Well, he just got eaten, but he gets a pretty big shield on himself. So now let's come over to his skills. Everything's fully booked. We have Nature's Wrath on him. For a while, Nature's Wrath is just going to be the best. Very early right now, technically, Heaven's Cast is probably better since I do have more buffs and I can get up a little bit higher. At 3-star, I would have a few buffs, but honestly, I would just stick with Nature's Wrath. He's placing the weaken, so he's going to have the buffs going up, 6% boost in damage, very good stuff. Then, of course, at 6-star, we switch over to Crushing Rend if we can. So Turvold, honestly, in this spot, I'm considering using Whisper. if you get a Whisper at a 6-star Crushing Rend, try her out. She places Weaken on the A1 ability. She hits hard, hard, hard. So try her out. Masteries, we have Helm Smasher once again, and then Krisk. Krisk is a super unique champion because he is bringing an AoE A1 with decreased speed, buff extensions on the A2, plus ally protection, continuous heals, helps my team actually stay alive. We have a Provoke on the A3. All this stuff is great. Also, a decreased defense and a decreased attack whenever they get hit. But the cool thing about him is you put him in a curse set. All the ally attacks that are going off between Mikage and Padraig is going to keep Provoke up, or sorry, the curse, the Hex up, basically the entire time. Because he's getting so many chances to join in on attacks. It's insane, honestly. He is joining in an incredible amount of attacks. So curse set on him is so, so good. I have Blood Shield on him. It's just how it works. I was trying to get him to have more buffs so he could be the Mischief Tank the entire time. As far as his stats go, I have him with high resistance to be the Mischief Tank. We have him with good speed. I would honestly like to get him swapped over into War Master, but for now, I just can't quite do that. I want to push closer to 500 resistance and then swap him over to War Master, maybe glyph up some more to get me closer to like 485, just resistance all the time. But for now, he's missing quite a bit of damage by not having War Master, but I will fix that eventually. But curse set, good accuracy, which is actually really low, honestly. So I'm not really sure how he was even landing anything. Actually, no. 206 accuracy, but Mikage does boost his accuracy, so it's actually pretty good. I would like to have maybe a little bit more, but to be honest, with his masteries, he's fine. But skills, everything fully booked, and then blessings, I would go Cruelty for sure. Cruelty, huge for him. My other Krisk is used in my Wixwell team, so I didn't switch him over. Honestly, I could have, and it would have been fine, but Cruelty on him will stack up very fast. And then for Padraig, I have him in Merciless plus some protection just for this speed boost, but mostly just Merciless. If I had Merciless plus Reflex, maybe Merciless plus Relentless, but honestly, I really don't want any extra turns because I want everybody's turn they take, except for champions, possibly Turvold, but then if you had like 9-piece Merciless, that's a different story. But most champions, I want them just to take their turn and move on. I don't really want any extra turns being eaten up because we're making it to the 1,500 turn count. I want to make sure every turn in those 1,500 turns are as useful as possible. So Padraig fully booked. For his blessings, honestly, I don't even know what would be best. Maybe the Intimidating Presence, possibly. But his blessing's not like super crazy impactful. If you had a 5-star one, maybe Brimstone, but you don't build him with accuracy anyways. So I don't know. I mean, it's nice to have a blessing. If you don't have a high Cruelty, you have him at 5-star, do Cruelty. But if not, just throw something on there. It should do pretty decent for him. Everything else, good. Relentless, wouldn't necessarily recommend that on any champion other than Mikage. Mikage is really good for that. He has very useful skills, but I really just want this ability to be used a lot. So it's up in the air. You could go Relentless plus Merciless if you wanted, but I think Merciless is very important. Merciless, Reflex, I may even go that instead. But I do have him fast. I do want to keep him fast because I want him getting a lot of turns. He's placing those continuous heals, a lot of heals. If you take a look at the end of our run, you can see that Padraig healed for 14 million damage. That's some massive, massive healing. And then, of course, Oboro. Oboro is just in 9-piece Slayer. Not the best pieces, honestly. We have some pretty good some artifacts that are pretty good, but the accessories, they're just not great. But the 9-piece Slayer has a chance to duplicate damage. So I kind of got to go with that. Now, with that said, I don't think it's functioning correct. I think it's still broken, and hopefully it gets fixed soon because she's going to do so much more damage if it does. Now, with this build, I don't have her very much speed because the set is going to boost her speed so much anyways. I've tried before of having her with this A3 ability being used so she get the Revive on Death, and it ended up making just her the Mischief Tank, and then she loses all of her buffs, and you can't keep the increased crit rate up anyway, so you can't build for 70% crit rate, so it ended up just not working out for me. Also, something I noticed was with Krisk, you got to be very careful because he can get the ally protection stripped, and sometimes my Oboro would actually kill my Krisk. So you got to be very careful. You got to make sure that Krisk is keeping as many buffs up as possible. That's why I have Blood Shield on him, because there was a time where ally protection being stripped, my Oboro would kill my Krisk essentially because the ally protection on the enemy was not working the same way as it was on me essentially. So that's the team, that's the build, that's the setup. This team is pretty simple once you get it built, honestly. And with Krisk in the team, it makes it very, very safe. Like this team, 100% I could walk away from. The Varl team, I did. 100% walk away from. So both these teams can do very, very well for you in Hydra and push you some very high damage, but you do need the 6-star blessing on Oboro. Now, with that said, I know the new blessing with the Nature's Wrath could possibly replace the Crushing Rend, but I didn't test that. And honestly, 30% damage boost, is it going to make a difference from the ignoring 100% defense? Because now I would lose quite a bit of defense ignore. I wouldn't be doing true damage. So it's something worth testing. I just didn't test it this time. Maybe I tested on the test server to see what the difference is, but I didn't feel like wasting the 300 gems considering I'm basically broke over here, guys. I got 1,000 gems. It's pretty bad stuff. But either way, let me know if you build this team. Best of luck, guys. I think this is going to be the one that I stick with, the double ally attack with Varl eventually, if I get a little bit better gear on him. Speaking of, let me show you how I had him built when I was using him. So with Varl, what I did, wait, why did I thought I took his gear and put it over to Turvold. That's weird. Okay, not really what I thought I did. I thought I put that onto Turvold, but either way, we're going to go lethal, Turvold, and see what happens. So this was the gear I had on Varl when he did his run. Good accuracy. Remember, Mikage gives, I think, plus 80. We have the Blood Shield Ring. We have okay attack. Honestly, his attack's not even that great. Like for this team, I'd rather him have 6,000 plus attack. Should be pretty easy to hit considering I got the +2 blessing. Once I get that, it's an extra 750. But I would love for him to have a bit more attack for sure. With that said, what was my Turvold wearing? Because I could have swore that I put him over into Varl's. Oh, I guess I changed the gear a little bit. I just left him in his gear. So either way, I wonder what Varl's gear would have been like on him. Let me see. Preset manager, try on. Oh my gosh, that is way slower. Wait, why is, okay, so this stuff's not all, why is, what? Oh, let me see. Okay, so this is what I do. Okay, so 248, he would have been faster, but I don't really need that much speed on Turvold, honestly. So it is what it is. He's good where he's at, honestly. So I'm just going to keep it as it is. And then if I ever get some more blessings on Varl or on Turvold, I will just use that champion in this team for a while. But honestly, I'm looking forward to getting Varl up because the higher blessings, more attack, he's going to be hitting hard. And his A1 smacks, all of his skills hit. But the biggest thing is that he gives everybody the weaken, places the weaken on everybody. So now Oboro's doing essentially 25% more damage, which is huge. But since it's bad affinity, he has a hard time keeping it up. You do need to make sure he's fast, because if he's not fast, then he's just not going to be able to keep it up very well. But guys, that's my brutal Hydra team. Basically, that one was clicking. The other one was full auto. Best of luck building this. I will be doing a video showcase of my Trunda team very soon as well. In case you guys are interested in seeing this, I'm going to run it in the next few days, and I'll do a video on that as well. But guys, with that said, thank you all very much for watching. I appreciate all of you, and I'll catch you in the next one.